Next, on Investigative Report. Tribalism and fearmongering, the twin religions of worldwide division. Today, many people associate the concept of tribalisms with Native Americans or perhaps the Kenyan and Maasai tribes in Africa. But one does not have to look back to a 10,000-year-old African culture to see that Constantine the Great codified this concept into the lexicon of humanity, giving us our current day states and municipalities. Conversely, it is believed that the heavy infighting amongst 86 tribes of the Roman Empire during the reign of Emperor Romulus is what led to mass division, wars, and the fall of that great civilization. But without land gains or wars as a tribal connection, what drives our attendance in the public square to voice a mass opinion? While some believe it is a bottom-up approach or the dog wagging the tail, we believe that it is a top-down decision or the tail wagging the dog, driven by the media giving us armchair opinions to constantly keep us warring amongst one another for profit. And now, tribalism and fearmongering, the twin religions of worldwide division. The device that you are currently holding in your hand is where you receive your opinions of yourself and the world around you. But what is on the other end of that broadcast feed? And what are the motives of the people who present us with those opinions? What is the real driving force behind the nightly news, the movies we watch, daytime television, and social media platforms other than to inform? I would submit to you that these media outlets exist purely for their profit, which is mainly driven by the tribalism and fear-mongering of an outside enemy that does not exist. But oddly enough, if the media does not cater to what we desire to hear, we simply change the channel or Google our interests over to another platform. This is why the media handily profits off of our own personal hatreds and biases of one another. The only way I believe I can successfully prove this is by giving you an actual account of someone who is familiar with the broadcast industry. Me. At one time in my distant past, I used to be a weekly contributor to an issue of psychology and relationships on a CBS radio station. The building where I arrived to post for the show had security where only the station talent could get you up the elevator to the floor where the station existed. Once we got to the floor of the station, I was shocked to see that this particular radio station was not on the floor by itself, but shared this level with 6 other radio stations separated by soundproof rooms. On that floor, there existed a rock station, a rap station, a sports talk station, a regular talk station, a rhythm and blues station, and an easy listening station. But the amazing thing about this rather expansive collection of stations is that they were all owned by one conglomerate, CBS Radio. CBS Radio, as well as iHeartRadio and Town Square Media, had successfully purchased the bulk of local radio stations all across the United States under one umbrella. None of these large conglomerates openly advertise the ownership of these stations so that you can continue to feel a local vibe for your own personal tribalism. But the behind-the-scenes hidden agenda is where things begin to get deep. All these stations I just named for you continue to exist as if they were warring against one another. The rock station would pretend that the rap station was strange music, and the talk show pretended like the others didn't make any sense at all, and so on. This would leave the listeners on the other end of that radio stream having no idea that these outlets were in the same building or owned by the very same corporation. But deeper still is the fact that they stoked our personal hatred biases, tribalism, or fear-mongering against one another for pure money and the bank profit. How did they profit from these things, you might ask? Easy. Each one of those stations was purchased simply to bring a profit to their company through advertising. Not because the DJ played great rap music or the talk channel gave better conservative opinions, Profits came directly from the commercials that played between the message to fear, mistrust, or laugh at your selected enemy's shortcomings. Nothing more, nothing less. Despite the fact that each one of those stations in that building was designed to be totally opposing to the other, CBS made sure that all ran the exact same version of a Coca-Cola or McDonald's ad spot. The purpose of ownership then would be to get as many advertising dollars as you can by buying all the opposing stations up, and then you could charge one company for advertising to the entire town's conflicting populace while selling them the exact same product, whether it be Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Sprite, McDonald's, Burger King, you got it. Now, watching the operations in real time, I found that not one opposing group is different from one another, but we are driven to believe so because we are groomed in a specific data stream in order to sell the same product to us in competing ways. Today, it is no longer Julius Caesar, Vladimir Putin, or the President of the United States who is the head of a particular tribe. Now, the only superior head of any country is the corporations for profit and the broadcasting dollars we lend them to turn us against one another. It is these corporations who successfully marshal us on the battlefield in peacetime and in war to mistrust one another with the goal in mind of making us attendants of their ultimate Super Bowl of purchases, which occurs once annually. That time of year is Christmas. Christmas, unlike many other holidays, is celebrated all around the globe. For this reason, advertisers know that it is okay to have us warring amongst one another, but to tamp down our differences between the month of July and December in order to turn our hearts warm to purchase and to do this massively. Christmas had really begun to be franchised with artists like Norman Sunbloom and Norman Rockwell, who popularized Santa Claus and the Coca-Cola Company together to merchandise that product to the world. Even the Coca-Cola Company itself markets this product in Brazil using, for the first time, a black Santa. But imagine, if you will, a world where people have been indoctrinated to retreat to their tribe's safety and security, coming out once a year to compete for the brass ring of what advertisers have been secretly pushing all year long: purchases of commercial goods. Imagine a shopping time when we set our differences aside until at least January 2nd of the following year, all around the world. How would that look? And who would be the face of that world leadership other than the advertisers and the stations that own the message? I submit for you, Santa Claus. But oddly enough, friend and enemy alike are united one day a year by one man. He is called by several names in many different countries. In the United States, he is Santa Claus. In Belgium and France, Pierre Noël. In Brazil, Papa Noel. In Chile, Bejo Papa Pascuero. In China, Dun Chi Lao Rin. In the Netherlands, Kerstman. In Finland, Joulupukki. In Germany, De Venusman. In Hawaii, Kanakaloka. In Hungary, Mikolas. In Italy, Baba Natale. In Japan, Hoti Osham. In Norway, Julinisman. In Poland, Sweetie Mikola. In Russia, Ded Mados. In Sweden, Jultomten. And in the United Kingdom, Father Christmas. Studies show that the average American will spend for Christmas at least 1 week's salary in the year 2022. According to the latest data from the National Retail Federation, American consumers will spend an average of $997.73 on gifts and holiday items each Christmas. That's approximately the same as the median pre-tax weekly salary of $1,001. But I would guarantee you, after that, it's back to the twin religions of worldwide division, and that it's tribalism and fearmongering come January. This religion during normal times of the year is what drives women to despise men, and men to dislike women. It is the power to drive one race against the other, or religions to distrust one another. On a larger scale, it is what motivates countries to stop trade or war with one another. It is the advertisers and the stations who pit the uneducated against the educated, Republicans against Democrats, and those in poverty against those who are wealthy. What those stations and television conglomerates won't be able to explain to you from a psychological point of view is that as humans we are either attacked, killed, or betrayed more in our own group than we are to be done as such by an existing enemy. In actuality, a woman who fears a man is more apt to be betrayed, attacked, or killed by another woman. So goes the same for a man. An American citizen is more likely to be punched in the face by another American than a Russian citizen overseas. It is the Democrat who would more than likely be sold out by his own party than the Republican he is going against, and vice versa. So it seemed, just as in Caesar's time, as it is now, that a nation, a state, a community, or home fails because of the enemy from within and not from without. If this country or any other is to remain strong, we must not let the advertisers and their peddlers divide us for the sake of bringing us together at the next Christmas Day Super Bowl. For the Investigative Report, this is Charles Rivers. Thank you for watching.
Ho, ho, ho!